When measuring sound, it is not enough to simply capture the raw data. We need to understand how people actually hear it. Human hearing varies in sensitivity across different frequencies and sound levels, which significantly influences how loud a sound feels. This is why sound meters use frequency weighting curves like A, B, C, or Z to adjust the signal before showing you a result. In this video, we explain what these curves are, why they matter, and how they help us measure sound in a way that reflects the human perception. Let's go. First of all, the origin of the acoustic weighting curves. Previously, you learned that humans don't hear all sounds the same way. We are more sensitive to certain frequencies than others. So when we measure sound, we need to account for how we actually hear it, not just what the microphone picks up. This is done by applying what's called a weighting to the sound signal. The equal loudness curves, also called Fletcher-Munson curves, introduced previously, are the foundation for this process. They show how loud different frequencies need to be for us to perceive them as equally loud. Remember, they looked like this. However, these curves are too complex to use directly in sound measuring devices. But while the original curves are important, modern research has refined them, and today we use updated contours defined in ISO 226. Historically, many sources said that A weighting was based on the 40-phone curve, suggesting it's only useful for quiet environments. But this is no longer accurate. Modern studies and ISO 226 show that the A weighting filter actually aligns more closely with the 60-phone curve, making it valid for everyday sound levels, not just low-level noise. That said, the full equal loudness curves are still too complex to use directly in hardware. So engineers simplified things by flipping the curves and smoothing them into easier to apply filters. So the A weighting, the inverse of the 60-phone curve, is used for normal everyday sounds. The B weighting, the inverse to the medium to loud curve, less commonly used today. And the C weighting, which is the inverse of the 80 to 100 phone curve, which is very loud. And the Z weighting, which is flat, unmodified response, so corresponds to no boost and no reduction. Think 0 in Z. Now, let's have a closer look at the acoustic frequency weighting curves. A weighting, which is a standard curve, mainly reduces low frequencies and slightly boosts some mid and high frequencies. It is designed to match how we perceive sounds at normal levels, usually around 45 to 85 dB. Today, A weighting is used almost everywhere in building regulations, product noise data, and standards. If you have ever seen dBA on a report or a sound level meter, this is the A weighting being used. Now B weighting. B weighting was designed for medium to loud sounds. It cuts the low frequencies less than the A weighting curve, but isn't widely used anymore. You might still find it in older research paper or measurement reports, especially from the 70s and the 80s. The C weighting, the high level curve. It provides a nearly flat response across most of the hearing range, especially keeping the low frequencies that the A weighting curve removes. It is commonly used to measure very loud sounds like concerts, heavy machinery, explosions, etc. Anything that rises above 90 to 100 dB. Z weighting is completely flat from 10 Hz to 20 kHz with no correction applied. It represents the raw, unfiltered signal that the microphone picks up. We use the dBZ when we want to see the true frequency content of the sound without any adjustments. Now let's see how the acoustic weighting is applied in practice. When you or a sound level meter analyze a sound, you can either look at the raw data or apply a specific weighting, dBA, dBB, or dBC. If you choose a weighting, the device processes each frequency band individually, applying corrections based on the gain of the selective curve. It adds or subtracts gain values band by band, depending on how sensitive the human ear is to each frequency. The result is a single, easy-to-understand value that combines all frequency bands. We call this a broadband value, and it gives a better sense of how loud a sound feels to the human ear. The letter in brackets, A, B, or C, tells you which weighting curve was used. If, like me, you're an acoustic geek and want to know the correction values for each weighting curve, we've put the links in the comments for each standard to apply for each weighting curve. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like it and leave a comment. And if you really liked the content, you can subscribe to our channel. It really helps us grow and produce quality content.